That's great, and you've had a lot of experience with Total Equine, you know, and so that's pretty exciting. But I've been asking you to try a new product called Equine15. Now, Equine15 is kind of an interesting thing, and I've talked about this before. It comes in little canisters. You buy a canister for one horse for 1 month. It's 150 grams in here, and you feed 5 grams a day. So that's, if you do the math, that's 30 days. And but some of the benefits that we've seen are quite outstanding, and we're going to talk about a couple here. But some of the things that we've had people tell us about, all the way from controlling EPM to reducing navicular problems and heaves. We get a lot of calls about people that have had chronic coughs or heaves in the horses, and they go away real easy. But that joint damage and hock inflammation and laminitis symptoms, those are all kind of in a category of chronic pain. They're telling us how they go away. The soreness in the hocks, and reduced hives. We had one on the last show about reduced hives. But a couple of ones that are not, well, that one at the bottom, suspensory ligament improvement. I have a farrier that says it absolutely helped recover some horses from suspensory ligament problems, which is supposed to be a death penalty, right? Yeah. And the one that I don't have on here that I just got the other day was a horse that had shivers and now doesn't have shivers anymore after 30 days on this. But Punk, I want you to tell a little bit about a horse called Shadow.
Yes. I get emotional.
That's all right.
My brother trained him.
Okay.
And he called me one day and said, I got Shadow. They just want to kind of retire him, semi-retire him. He'd be a good horse for a lesson horse.
Okay.
So we took him, and that's him.
Okay.
But he was doing great, and he got where he didn't want to cut like he used to. You know, he just didn't act like he felt good.
Okay.
Blah, blah.
Just off. Huh?
Yeah, off, and the lady, Marianne and Jeff, who bought Powder. I said, won't y'all take? Marianne loves him because that was her first horse to cut on. You know, I said, take him over and keep him, and just give Powder a buddy. So I said, just bring him back, and you can do your lessons on him. But he just didn't act like he wanted to cut like he wanted to, you know. And she said, Punk, I'm having trouble picking up to clean out his left hind foot. Okay. I said, oh my gosh, maybe we ought to get him injected. And you sent me the product. Yeah. I said, let's try this first. You showed me all the benefits to it. She brought him back over. And he was like a different horse, like he just turned the switch, you know. I mean, he was back to his old self. I mean, just trancing around there. And he really moves his head when he cuts. He's real quick and fast. So
you can pick his foot up?
Pick his foot up. I don't see any reason why you'd ever have to inject him now. I mean, he's back to normal. We took him to the cut, and the husband was first and she was second on Shadow. Shadow looked like a little machine out there cutting. He was just as happy as he could be, you know.
Well, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
And you and I talked to a lady on the phone with you yesterday that had a story. Tell me about her.
She has an old gelding that was an old cutting horse, and her little girl runs barrels and poles on him. And he'd quit. I mean, he'd just take the bridle and leave, you know. I guess he was hurting somewhere, and she takes really good care of her horses, so I knew it wasn't an injection part or anything. So I sent a jug over there for a roping mare because she's a little nervous in the box. I said, try this on her. So yesterday she said, you know what? I tried it on they call him Rockstar, a little gelding. and he's back to running again. He's not silly going down the alley. She sent me a video, and it was great. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's just unbelievable how it changed that horse's mind. Yeah, and she said she kind of moved up in the winning zone. Oh yeah. She's in the stand. Oh, she's winning the buckle for the year now. But I mean, that particular horse, that run, she was like 5th out of 30 horses. But she hadn't got him through a run in a while. Yep. But it's just crazy what's going on with it. And I also have a bulldog guy that lives there, big bay horse. He's kind of hot, you know. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, I said, he put him on. I said, what's it doing with that horse? He said, I got to have some more. He's a different horse now. He's mellowed down. Yeah. So they settled down to focus. It settled down and focused. I think it really, if a horse is not hurting, you know, they're going to perform so much
They
better.
want to perform,
and,
don't they?
Yeah, always. Yeah,
Yeah.
Especially these old horses.
Yeah.
They still got it, just like me and
That's what
you.
they
and
do.
You know,
Yeah.
we still want to do our best, and I know they want to do their best,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they just can't. You know.
That's right.
But this is kind of elevate them back up to where they can do it.
Right.
I'm just.
And I think hopefully we've got somebody on the phone, Amy, Steve
That's
Lanfit.
right. We do. Yeah, we are joined now by phone by Steve Lanfit, and hopefully get some of his
Yeah,
comments
he's got
as
some
well.
stories
Right?
to tell about the same thing.
Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Doc,
welcome.
how are you?
I'm good. How's Steve?
Hello, how are you guys? Very good. We're actually driving back from New York. We just finished two-day clinics out there. We're in the truck driving home.
Well, driving back from New York. Well, get back to Illinois. That's a good place to be.
You betcha.
Well, Steve, I'd like you to tell the folks a little bit about, we've just had Punk Carter talking about Equine15 and some of the things that he's seen and what some of his people have seen with Equine15. I think you have a couple of stories that you could relate.
Well, you know, you sent me 6 containers, and told me to go ahead and pick out, out of the 25 horses, pick out 6 of them. And went through the list and gave it some thought. And I picked I've got a 13-year-old cutting horse. And it's very similar. I was listening to Puck's story, sort of very similar to that. You know, he's still doing his job, but it wasn't as fluid. And we in the past, we had to take care of his hocks. So, and that's been about a year or so ago. So we put him on Element 15. And in about 10 days or so, I started to see he's coming out of his pen. He's a little bit lighter, and before you knew it, well before the end of that month of that first container, he started to act like he was back when he was 7 and 8, and he was enjoying his job. He still did his job, but after the Element 15, there was that little bit more of that youthful enthusiasm back to where he was sort of playful with it, and the expression on his face, you could tell that he was sort of back to feeling his younger days.
Good.
Then we had a couple horses in for training that were the one was a horse, about 4 years old, came in for training. Never thought it. In my opinion, I didn't like how it moved. We went ahead and it came in barefoot. We went ahead and had it shod and changed a couple things on it. We put it on Total Equine. Most of the horses that come in for training are in different programs. We put them on Total Equine, and all of a sudden the horse changes. So we started doing all this. Had a lot of luck with everything we did for the first couple months, and then you sent the Element 15, put him on there, and I will tell you, again, a big difference. I don't know if he was a little touchy, whether it was his knees, I could never figure it out, or his feet. We had vets look at him, and they would all say he's not lame. There's nothing that we can see. But after the Element 15, a lot more fluid in his movement. Again, enjoying his job more. Clients were happy. This is, it's just going to be a family horse. They're working on their horsemanship and stuff like that. And big difference. The horse carried himself, was engaging his hind end. So they loved it. And then, had another 2 younger mares, same situation that were using them. I knew the one for sure. We had some joint issues. We took care of that, and that was again about a year ago. And I knew that we were coming due again. So instead of going ahead and taking care of it, we put him on the Element 15, and pretty much same situation. Before the end of the month, all of a sudden we're liking our job. You know how sometimes those mares get that little bit of that marish attitude when when things aren't going
I've
so
heard
right.
about that.
And all of a sudden she was pleasant and doing her job. All of them. I didn't have anything that was navicular, but some soreness. And a couple horses I picked had some issues with soreness in their feet. And keeping in mind all the horses are, whether they were training horses or ours, everybody's on their total feeds, and that's always improved. But what I saw with the Element 15, the horses that I put it on, I saw a significant difference in terms of performance from before I put it on. And it was something noticeable. Yes, sir.
I tell you what, we're a little short on time here, Steve. Those are great stories, and I appreciate it very,
Okay.
very much. So I appreciate you calling in, and you folks drive safe, okay?
All right, Doc. We'll talk to you later, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye. Thank you.
What he was saying with his older horse is almost identical to Shadow as far as
Yeah.
getting that youth back, you might say.
That's what's so fun to hear is how we're reclaiming some of these horses that are trying to be old,
And they, they want to perform, they just can't do it.
Yeah.
That's when they get nervous.
right?
But now they're just back in action.
That's right.
It's crazy.